Hello and welcome back. Started this off with a smile. John Stark from MacMovieGuide.com. And this is my review of Smile. Folie à deux. Smile 2. I think all sequels should be called Folie à deux from now on. Yeah, Smile 2. And this is currently available on Paramount Plus with audio description. So check it if you want. And it's again directed by Parker Finn, who hit on the scene with Smile the first time, which if you know the story of Smile, it was originally developed to be a streaming title for Paramount Plus, but it tested so well that they threw it into theaters where it made over $100 million in the box office. So Parker Finn launched his own franchise based around jump scares and creepy smiles. And really disturbing imagery also, by the way. Smile 2 follows in that footstep and tries to connect to Smile 1 in a way, but really this film is powered by Naomi Scott, who, I should say, Astro Award nominee Naomi Scott, who sort of surprised, I think, and I saw some like reactions to it. It didn't seem like everybody was like too upset about it. They were like, oh, that's an interesting choice, which is a good sign, because when you're like completely out of awards consideration and there are a bunch of people who could have taken that sixth spot, you don't want to be like a what the fuck nomination, like an anger, like, how did you leave out so-and-so? You want people to be like, huh, and get that pause and be like, you know what? She was actually pretty good in that. That's an inspired choice. She has absolutely no shot of getting nominated anywhere else, but thank you. I love those nominations. So it's one of the reasons I was intrigued to watch Smile 2. I was like, is Naomi Scott really that good? She actually is. She's actually really good here. She has a lot to react to. The film takes on sort of an interesting perspective of trying to break its formula a little bit and showing us, and not showing us necessarily everything, and sort of showing us somebody having almost like a breakdown, and not just popping off with relentless gore like right in the beginning, like the first film starts and like somebody like rips their face off, and that's how she gets the curse. It's a little bit different here. And I think watching that, where she comes into a situation and she's like, I don't know what the hell's going on here, but we know because it's Smile 2. So we're like, girl, get up out of there. Girl, run, girl. Like, what are you doing? Leave. People are telling her, like, get the hell up out of there. But she plays a pop star who is a recovering addict, who also has this tragic past where she was in a car accident that killed her boyfriend, and she's just now being let back into the public spotlight, and she's having to like basically do an apology tour, but her fans are happy to see her. She's got like a book coming out, and she's making new music, and she has a stage mother, not a mother, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those ones that's like, you need to do this for your career. Like, who doesn't really seem to be that invested in her daughter's personal problems, which is kind of frustrating because, yeah, every scene with her mom just didn't work for me. I was like, your daughter's like a recovering addict who survived a car accident, where fiance was killed. Feel like you should be a little bit more conscientious as a character if I'm supposed to like you at all. But again, what Smile 2 does is it plays with the concept of reality anyway. So I'm not even really sure what I just saw. To be totally honest, there are scenes where, and not to spoil it, but there are scenes that go on for a while, and then you find out that her mind is being fucked with. And you're like, wait a minute. I mean, there's like one great reveal in here that I was like, thank Parker, that's amazing. Like, that is an amazing reveal. I I actually like Smile 2 better than Smile 1. Smile 1 relied way too heavily on jump scares and not enough on plot and character development. Here he has flipped it and he has less jump scares so that they're more effective when they happen, and they have better character development here as well, so that way uh, you actually really feel like you know Naomi Scott and you see somebody who is really going through it, and she was already going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is somebody who already was not doing well, and then this thing happened to her. So it kind of really entrenches itself into her in a very specific way. And I think the choice to make her somebody who's not just recovering from like an addiction, but also recovering from a tragedy, um, really just puts her in this incredibly fragile state, which is why Naomi Scott's performance is as good as it is. It's one of those performances where you wish we could have more nominations that actually came out of this genre, because she wouldn't be a bad pick to float around in awards season. Um, especially in a year where I don't think anybody's saying Mia Goth again for Maxine. I mean, it feels like if we didn't have Demi Moore, that she could possibly lead the actress charge in terms of an actress from a horror movie. But obviously Demi Moore is taking up a lot of that space for the category. It's like, can we just get Demi Moore across the finish line? So, but Naomi, absolutely. I mean, I hope this really fuels her career, because I thought she was excellent here, and she's definitely the reason to watch Smile 2. It's gory. Of course it is. Of course it's gory, and he finds interesting and new ways to kill people. But the jump scares make more sense when they happen. Like, in general, like, some of them are going to happen, so they're not necessarily... but there was like one that I hated. The first Smile I gave a C+. I barely passed it on as being watchable. There was one that I hated where she's sitting in the car and the face appears like upside down. I was like, where's he even hanging from? Like, what is the insinuation here? Is he hanging down over the top of the car? I don't even understand. Like, conceptually, I did not understand where he was in order for his face to be where it was. I was like, is he like a floating man floating upside down outside her car? It was very weird. But here, everything is a little bit more grounded in some sort of reality, or Naomi Scott's version of reality, or it's built better. So instead of throwing you a random jump scare that makes absolutely no sense, you get things where you already sort of are seeing her like devolve into madness. And so when she looks up in the ceiling and maybe sees like something in the ceiling that obviously would not be there, she's already losing her fucking mind, you know? So much better direction from Parker Finn. This really shows that, I'm going to guess he was given a better budget. He was given a better sort of like support team, because usually if you're trying to put money into a streaming horror title, you're not going to give it like all the money in the world. You're going to try to say, we'll make it on a budget, like a tight budget. And when you want to send something to theaters and you're like, well, the first movie made over 100 million, so we want to be able to have the second one do that as well, you're going to want to support it a little bit more. It doesn't get a huge budget increase because this is not, you don't want to overspend on a horror movie, but at the same time, he's going to get a little bit more in terms of resources. So I feel like he used it. I feel like he used it well, and he proved why there should be a Smile 3. Although I would say, moving on, and this is sort of a spoiler, but he's going to have to start changing the endings to these movies, because, that's how the franchise will die quickly, and how it's going to lose fans, is if it all feels like we're working to the predictable ending that we get every single time. So he has to figure out a way how to differentiate Smile movies and really find a way to inject. Um, that was probably the thing that I thought was like I I thought this was like the last way he could do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I was like, okay, so we had the first way, and the second way feels interesting, and I get why. I feel like there was another film that tried to do this. Um, was it like Rings or something like that? Had a sort of a similar idea behind it. Um, and so yeah, I think the third film, depending on how connected it is to the second film, could be really interesting. But at some point, it has to be like Saw, where people actually survive this. You know, like it talks a lot about the concept of surviving this. This was the one that plays with. There's a character here who's been tracking this demon because it killed his brother like 8 people ago, like before even the first movie. Um, and he has a plan and he's trying to put it into action, which is a good sign perhaps for the future of trying to figure out how to do this and how to beat it or turn it on its head or to do something unexpected at the end instead of just giving us the same ending. People do actually survive Saw movies. I feel like that's not said enough. Sometimes they survive with, some damage, but they do survive them, and not all of them do. So, like, but people watch that. They watch those movies to see sort of what's interesting about those traps is what's going to happen to those people. Will they survive it? Will they be able to get themselves out of the trap, or are they doomed to die? But if there wouldn't be 10 Saw movies if like everybody died, every single trap, and nobody lived. Um, so you have to at some point change it up, and I'm intrigued with how he leaves the second film because it leaves the possibility for him to allow that to happen in the third film. But will he allow it to happen in the third film, and how is he going to do it without spoiling, without showing his hand? But I was thinking about like the monotony of watching, because it feels like Smile's going to be the new franchise where we get like a new one of these pretty rapidly, either every other year, if not every year, if they can speed it up. If they can start, now that they know that they've got a success, I would imagine Smile 3 gets greenlit pretty quickly and thrown into production, to where they can start pumping them out at an almost yearly rate, sort of like Paranormal Activity sequels or the aforementioned Saw sequels. So if they can do that, then it runs the risk of getting stale. And the way that he can change it up is by adding in the promise of being able to shake it, to being able to shake this thing. And how do you do it? It may be difficult. Maybe you may have to give something up in order to do it, but there has to be a way to do it. So I just don't think people are going to sustain a franchise where they know where the ending is going to come every single time. And it's just, same old, same old. We know we know where this movie is going. But absolutely watch this. Naomi Scott is tremendous. And Parker directed the hell out of it. The audio description here is great. It describes all the gore. Man, there's I'll say the scene that I thought was the most well described was the one, and it just sounds disgusting. it's horror description, but it's the one where she picks up where she watches the person die and transfers the thing to her. That scene was the attention to detail was solid, so brutal, solid, and yeah, the rest of it, there's some stuff that's interesting. I love the attention to the soiled underwear. I love that it was soiled underwear too. Like, ew, ew, disgusting. Anyway, I feel like, so to me, soiled means something's there, not just like dirty, not just maybe like some track marks. But it's like, oh, gross. Anyway, yeah, so I would say I'm much happier with Smile 2, a huge improvement. And definitely Naomi Scott really just kind of takes this film to like the next level in terms of performance. So she absolutely deserved that Oscar nomination. I don't know where else she's gonna go if anybody's gonna pick her up, but she's tremendous here. Anyway, she absolutely, it's a case for giving her better work in the future because it shows that she can handle um, just a character that is going through a lot. She already was, and then now she has to deal with this fucking demon. So, yeah, check out Smile 2. I'm gonna give it a B plus. I actually really like the sequel. I think I like it more I like it a lot more than the first film. So, that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.